Can I just ask you your opinion, your feelings on the relationship with the manager?
We have a solid relation. Everything is solid. We all want Nottingham to succeed. So personally, I don't see a problem. We'll make some corrective actions and everything will be smooth and ready to go.
That we need to talk. It was a tough week for both of us. These kinds of things should be done in the right moment, and the right moment is after the game. Now we are focused on West Ham.
Doesn't matter what level you play at in football, if you concede goals that are a little bit soft, then it can affect everything. You know, I try my best. That's my job, that's my task. We're all hurting. You know, things aren't good. And I don't think we're far away from a performance and a result that gets us moving in a different direction.
Most fans will think this is a gimme, is a straightforward game.
No. You just look at the squad of West Ham. The manager, Bowen, James, Paquetá, 3 central defenders. They have a very good team.
They were almost ridiculed in the first season for spending a lot of money and buying a lot of players. But I think they've proven that they're competent and know what they're doing. Nuno's coming in and done a brilliant job. So, yeah, another tough game, but one we're looking forward to.
Hello, everybody. We return to league action next, and it's up the M1 we go to the City Ground in West Bridgford, home of Nottingham Forest. It's a Sunday match with a 2 p.m. kick-off for the benefit of Sky, which is pretty much like everything these days. Forest started the season with a 3-1 win over Brentford, who seem to be the carcass many teams are circling since Thomas Frank decided to give himself the challenge of keeping Tottenham up this season. This was followed by a 1-1 draw at Palace, whose ludicrous supporters were more interested in berating Forest's owner than the game itself. They were particularly pleased with themselves with the banner that showed owner Marinakis holding a gun to the head of Gibbs White and referencing various brushes with the authorities, including match fixing, referee influencing and drug trafficking, all of which led to acquittal for what we used to refer to as the shipping magnate. Whilst one may have sympathy for any other club, in the case of Palace I'm happy to make an exception and point out that they should have got the paperwork done in time anyway. All this has left Forest with 4 points and in 5th place in the nascent league table, and sitting smugly in Palace's place in the Europa League. Forest splashed the cash a bit during the window. According to Daisy, they went shopping in Brazil, picking up striker Igor Jesus and defender Jair Cunha for a combined total of 20.4 million from Botafogo. Jesus' most prolific period came in a 4-year spell out in Dubai with Shabab Al-Ali, for whom he netted 34 times in 66 appearances. He returned home to Botafogo, spending a season there before Forest swooped this summer. Unlike his compatriot, Cunha has yet to make his Forest debut. His fee accounted for the extra 400,000 over the 2 transfers. Also unlike Jesus, he has yet to achieve full international honours for Brazil. He was, however, part of the squad that won the South American Under-20 Championship last summer. £34.5 million was the fee paid to Bologna for the services of Swiss international Dan Ndoi. A right winger by trade, he's 22 caps for the Swiss, and he made his debut for Forest against Brentford, having arrived fresh from Italy, having scored the winner in Bologna's cup final defeat of Inter. Another cup winner in the summer was Amari Hutchison, who was on the score sheet in the Euro Under-21 win over Germany, which some of us watched during the evening of my own stag night. I know how to have a good time. His move from southbound Ipswich Town cost Forest another £37.5 million, and his debut came as a late sub last weekend down at Palace. Although James McAtee cost £30 million to prize from Manchester City, in truth he'd made about as many appearances for the Citizens as I have. OK, slight exaggeration perhaps, but he did spend the last couple of seasons on loan at Sheffield United, where he presumably learnt that no matter how bad you play, it's always somebody else's fault. Something I understand our own owners are working on as a concept. He too enjoyed under-21 success with England in the summer, gaining man of the match plaudits in the final and making the team of the tournament. There again it sort of runs in the family. His great uncle was Alan Ball, who ran his legs off in the 1966 World Cup final, so there's something of a beating Germany in a final pedigree there. The final permanent arrival was striker Arno Caliamendo, who fetched £26 million when coming in from Rennes. The highest level he's achieved at international level is the under-21 stage, at which he's gained a remarkable 33 caps, a figure made even more astonishing when you add the extra 10 caps he picked up for the French Olympic side last year. They also brought in a loan signing in the form of former Villa midfielder Douglas Luiz. Luiz came in from Juventus, having signed there last season as part of Villa's PSR-related fire sale. Having only arrived last week, he's yet to make his debut for Forest, though he should be somewhere around the squad for this weekend, one would have thought. And so to the wild and wacky world of association football, and arguably Game of the Week came up at St James's Park, where any doubts that PGMOL have their colours firmly nailed to Liverpool's mast were firmly dispelled by the performance of Simon Hooper. Whilst the Geordies can have little complaint about the dismissal of Gordon, who was A, bagged to rights, and B, overdue a red card anyway, that was only one of 3 red cards that an honest referee would have issued. No prizes for guessing which side benefited from the generosity of the officials then. As ever, Sky refused to mention it lest the oh-so-sensitive Liverpool be upset at being found out. Just to add insult to injury, the winner came from a 16-year-old whose transfer from Chelsea was the subject of all sorts of speculation earlier on this year regarding the legitimacy or otherwise of the arrangement. It is an area in which the Scousers do have previous, having received a ban on signing young players a few years ago, when their claim not to have offered illegal payments was rather undone by the playing of a tape recording of them doing exactly that. Talking of bent matters, the organisers of the League Cup are repeating last season's fix to ensure that at least some of the clubs in Europe get a home draw. The question to ask is, why? In a random draw, there'd be an equal chance of each club being drawn home or away. To ensure that some of the clubs in Europe get a home draw is just simply a fix. A fair draw is entirely possible, and the fact that the authorities chose not to do so rather stinks. Something else that stinks the place out at the moment is us. Against Chelsea, we had a bright start, and the lead we took was deserved based on the 6 whole minutes that had been played to that point. We were harrying and pressing well up the pitch, forcing errors and enabling us to create chances. So, of course, we then did what we always seem to do when we go a goal up. We got everyone back behind the ball and stopped attacking. Wan-Bissaka chose the evening to have a rare mare, and they equalised. Unusually for us, we decided to give it another go, and we were a bit unfortunate not to restore the league when Tadebo's toenails were found to be in an offside position. The goal that gave them the lead came as a result of a foul on Paquetá. However, Michael Oliver wouldn't have got anywhere near 400 games in his career by applying the laws evenly to the so-called bigger clubs. A cursory glance of his record shows him making a surprisingly large number of dubious decisions in favour of a larger club just at the time when it might be needed. So much so that you might have thought somebody would have looked at the strange pattern. Nah, of course not. After that, of course, we folded. We had chances towards the end when Chelsea had all but packed up, but it was clear to us where all the problems lie. Well, all except our owners, apparently, but there again, they're probably the root cause of all our problems at the moment. It was something similar at Wolves. Having been a bit unfortunate to be a goal down at the interval, we started harrying and pressing well up the pitch, forcing errors, enabling us to create chances. So we did what we always seem to do when we go a goal up. We got everyone back behind the ball and stopped attacking. After that, we folded, of course. We had chances towards the end when Wolves had packed up, but it was clear to all where the problems lie. Well, all except our owners apparently, but there again, they're probably the root cause of the problem. Now, the more observant of you may have noticed that last bit was a cut and paste job. Well, if some of the players can't be bothered to put in an effort, I'll be damned if I will. For this weekend, we have the same 3 players out with injuries. That's Earthy, Somerville and Guillaume, so it's the same squad to choose from at time of writing. Although there are a couple of transfers in the offing, I'll refrain from commenting on them until I see the ink on the paper and the players holding up the shirt and the club scarf. Given that, Mr. Potter's going to have a few decisions to make, not least between the sticks, where Hermansen has shown an alarming tendency to go missing at crosses, a trait which is all the more worrying given the alarming tendency of the defenders in front of him to do exactly the same. Prediction? Well, I've often quoted that saying, often but probably incorrectly attributed to Einstein, on the subject of insanity, that being defined as repeating the same thing time and time again and expecting a different result. We've now played 3 and lost 3 doing the same thing each time, so I'd say that old saying is applying to the team at the moment. as it does to our owners who seem to think that everything's going to be okay because we've got 35,000 families watching every week. I would actually respectfully ask the Baroness how many families she thinks will be there this time next season if we're playing Wrexham. To be honest, it was so depressing on Tuesday night that I can't see anything changing anytime soon. So the £2.50 I was going to bribe Michael Oliver with to see if he could do an honest 90 minutes will instead, with the greatest of reluctance of course, be going on us getting another drubbing. Call it 4-1 to them, shall we, Mr. Winston? Enjoy the game.